Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Media Bub Podcast, the show about anything and everything media related. Ed here, all by myself. For this episode, I'm going to do a quick movie review. For this one, I'm going to do the latest John Wick film franchise installation called The Ballerina. Jen and I were lucky enough to get free passes to watch the movie before it came out. We did get to see it for free. On top of a review, this is going to be a little more of a retrospective. I'm basically just going to talk about how I feel about the film and how I feel in regards to the franchise altogether. And if I'm being honest, this film didn't hit as good as I thought it was going to be. I was definitely looking forward to this film. It was lacking something that just would make it stand out from the other John Wick films. If I'm being 100% honest, at this point, I feel like the John Wick franchise is getting a little bit stale. That doesn't mean that this film was bad. I just feel like they could have done a different story in regards to this particular one, but they decided to kind of make it just another John Wick film, except this time with a female protagonist. Um, One thing I will say though, Ana de Armas as Eve Marcari, she did a fantastic job learning the ropes of being an assassin in the film. Her Ana de Armas herself took weapons training. She learned combat training, and I think she did a lot of her own stunts. So my hats off to her on that one. But that being aside, the film just didn't seem. I don't know. It felt like it was lagging something. Like this is something we've already seen. The first two acts were pretty good. A third act kind of dragged on. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, especially if you folks haven't seen it. I do recommend you go watch it, but I wouldn't recommend you go watch it in theaters simply because it just doesn't feel theater worthy. Jen and I were lucky to go see it for free, so I wasn't too bummed about that. One thing I will say about I feel like they could have easily done the story a little bit different, simply because one aspect of the film shows Anna's character Eve helping out another character named Pike or Pine, who's played by Norman Reedus. And this is one big complaint I had about this film because he was literally in the movie for about 5 minutes, and it made me feel like he was heavily underutilized. And the only reason he's in the film is because there's an aspect in the whole plot that revolves around Anna's character Eve helping him. And I feel like if they had stuck to that plot point, it would have been a lot better. Whereas to the one that they stuck with, which is basically her main objective in the entire film, is basically just getting revenge. And I get what they went with or why they went with that, simply because they wanted to. It felt like they wanted to recreate the first John Wick film, but with a female protagonist. Not to say that is a bad thing, but I feel like since we already seen it, why we need to see something again like that? I mean, the franchise in on itself is over 10 years old. The first movie came out in 2014, so Matt has actually kind of gone on record to tell me that he feels that the franchise should have ended at part 4 when John dies. I personally feel like they should just continue it with the TV series, like they were doing with the Continental, and basically just answer a lot of unanswered questions that they've had over the last films that have been coming out lately. There's so many questions that they leave in these films that just don't get answered, and then they release new films that make more questions and leave so many more questions unanswered, and it gets frustrating. And I feel like this film is a good indicator that the franchise is kind of getting stale, and maybe it's time to wrap it up or just continue in a new medium, whether it's a TV series, maybe comic books. And I feel like it would do a lot better that way, especially if it helps answer a lot of unanswered questions in the other films. But again, that's not to say that the film was bad. It wasn't terrible. It's definitely one of the better movies I've seen in a while. It was lacking something that made it stuck out as a good John Wick series film. The only aspect of that film that's probably different from all the other films is that the lead protagonist is a female. And again, not taking away from her role, she did a great job. Her acting skills were on point. Her combat prowess was really good. So props to her on all that. But I feel like they could have easily done something to make her stand out as a unique assassin in this world of the John Wick franchise. But we'll see what they do with other films. I know part five is coming out. I don't know what they plan on doing. Maybe we'll see more of Anna's character in there, or maybe I don't know. Maybe they can go back in time and show John when he was still working for the High Table. I generally don't know, especially again since his character is dead. I don't know what they plan on doing with this next film that's coming out soon. And I think there's other IPs that they want to do, but they're still in development. So we'll see if any of those get off the ground. Hopefully sooner rather than later, especially because Keanu Reeves is getting up in age, and it's going to be very hard for him to continue filming these films. I know they would want to replace him eventually, and Anna would be a good candidate. I would be happy if that is the case. But for now, maybe let's just wrap it up and end the franchise and maybe just continue with another medium like a TV show or a comic book. So either way, if you do plan on watching it, I would recommend you wait till it comes out on streaming. Simply because I just don't feel it's theater worthy. But to each his own. This film actually did get a pretty good rating. It got 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. IMDb, I think, gave it a 79. So it did get pretty good reviews. Me personally, I would give it like a 6 out of 5, 6 out of 10, maybe 2.5 stars out of 5. It's just, again, it just didn't hit as good as I thought it was gonna be. But that's just me. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Have you seen the movie? Did you like it? What did you like about it? Did you not like it? What didn't you like it? Let's have a conversation. As always, you can reach us at the Media Buff Podcast if you want to talk to us. And as always, please remember, hit that like button, subscribe, and we will talk to you all next time.